Anything else you want to say to your fans, man?
Man, shout out to DONTAE'S Boxing Nation. You know, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, Earl Spence Jr., my whole name, and just look out for me.
DONTAE'S Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? Well, looks like a little bit of bad news. When we thought we were about to get a hell of a fight, December 10th, which could have possibly been Terrence Crawford versus Felix DIAZ. But according to reports and Felix DIAZ, he called out Danny Garcia, Adrian Broner, and Terrence Crawford, and it looks like he might not be getting any of those guys in the ring on December 10th. There's been some reports that Terrence Crawford, he may be facing John Molina instead of Felix DIAZ, which obviously wouldn't be as great or even close to a Terrence Crawford versus Felix DIAZ fight. That is a great matchup to make. Felix DIAZ, he's been talking about Terrence Crawford's people wanting to protect Terrence Crawford. He talked about Danny Garcia facing Sammy Vargas next, which is a fighter that Errol Spence has already knocked out. And he talked about Adrian Broner not taking the fight as well. So Felix DIAZ is really frustrated right now, and I completely understand why. This man, he just came off of a huge win, dominating Sammy Vasquez. He had a win, or he had a fight that could have easily been considered a win over Lamont Peterson, a very controversial decision, which was awarded to Lamont Peterson. And now, after this win over Sammy Vasquez, Felix DIAZ, he is still looking for the best opponents or the best champions to go up against. And he's having a hard time getting in the ring with any of these top guys. It's very unfortunate. I don't know if maybe they'll build this fight up or whatever the case may be. I don't know if Felix DIAZ is still on Terrence Crawford's short list right now and they're still thinking about taking the fight. All I do know is I remember when Terrence Crawford was negotiating with Victor Postal. Victor Postal was telling the public that Terrence Crawford was ducking him and Terrence Crawford didn't want to fight him, and then the next thing we know, the fight was signed. That may or may not happen in this situation right now. There's no doubt about it. Felix DIAZ is definitely a more dangerous fighter, I truly believe, than a Victor Postal. Victor Postal, he was dangerous because of his height, because of his movement, his long arms. But Felix DIAZ is dangerous for different reasons. Felix DIAZ is an aggressive fighter, but he's an unorthodox aggressive fighter. He's not some plotting, one-dimensional aggressive type of fighter. Felix DIAZ, he can box and he can be very aggressive when he needs to. He has defense, he has rhythm, slickness, he has speed, agility. So he's a dangerous opponent for anyone. That's why I remember when Sammy Vasquez, who was supposed to fight a much lesser opponent, he was going to fight a guy that he would have most likely beat easy, and then all of a sudden that guy pulled out, and then he gets Felix DIAZ on a short notice. And I remember interviewing Sammy, and I said, wow, that's a hell of a step up in competition. You know, for you to go from the guy you was just about to face to facing Felix DIAZ, right? And we seen what happened. So, yeah, man, this is unfortunate. I just hope that Felix DIAZ, he gets a shot at Terrence Crawford eventually, because that's a big fight, man. That's a big fight. That would have been nice to see out there in Nebraska and Terrence Crawford's hometown, him taking on a very, very tough opponent, and us getting to see how Terrence Crawford would have dealt with that unorthodox aggression. It would have been really interesting. So, you know, I'll keep following this story. once again, I mean, nothing is official yet. Hopefully there's still a chance that this fight can come to fruition. I mean, but if you're listening to FELIX DIAZ, the fight ain't gonna happen, according to him. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
This is Bobby, and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation.